good, is it? Not very good. Does this look familiar? Struggling with your game a little bit? Feel like you're working on the right things, it's just not working. Okay, so this week's video, we're going to talk about how do we start to diagnose what's going wrong in our golf swing. Okay, so I'm struggling personally. I'm going away on the captain's trip in a week or so's time. I've done very little practice and playing. So how am I going to get my game in some shape? So the first thing I would like you to do, if you're struggling with your game, is go through this checklist. We're going to check if the ball's curving left or curving right. First thing you should check is club face alignment at address. Is it too closed if it's going to the left? Is it too open if it's going to the right? Okay, and if that's not the case, check the grip placement. If it's got too far from a left-handed golfer over to the right-hand side like this, that could be a reason when I come back the club face is closed. If it's too open, is my grip got a little bit too weak, and I'm coming back and the club face is a little bit open. So they're the first two things to check if the ball's curving too much, okay? Now, what happens if I'm hitting it heavy, I'm hitting it fat? Well, we need to make sure that we're in balance and we've got the correct ball position. So ball position, let's make sure feet together. Okay, small step, slightly bigger step is a rough guide. So kind of left chest, left ear is a rough guide for a 7-iron. For instance, wedge is going to be a smaller stance. It's going to look more in the middle. Everything gets a bit further back for all the other clubs. So we're going to check these as well. Okay, so how do I check my balance? Okay, well, I'll get it set up where I feel comfortable. Just stand up. I'm going to bend over from my pelvis, let the club fall down. I'll catch him a little bit too close, and then we're going to check from there. We can also check balance to make sure that we're not too much heels and toes, and make sure that we feel like we're sitting down to the shot, so we feel like we're grounded. This is a really good one and often overlooked. Okay, so we've covered some keys there just to start with, just some checklists to start with. Okay, now if these are okay, but let's say we're hitting the ball a little bit heavy, or we're not striking the ball very well. Sometimes it's a deep divot, sometimes it's a shallow divot, sometimes there's no divot. Okay, so what would we check from here? Well, the first thing we would check at that position would be, how is the weight moving? How is your body moving? So are we winding up into the back leg? Are we unloading into the front leg? Or are we kind of staying still, then loading back and then getting stuck on the back leg? Or sometimes we're loading late and then we can't get forward. Sometimes actually we're not loading at all but getting too far in front of it. So these things can cause, so we want to work on these. So maybe we should go back to some drills where we feel like we go right foot, left foot, and we hit some balls like this. So we kind of work on these exercises, okay? So we kind of get set up into balance. I feel like I'm in the right place. Yeah, good. I feel grounded. Right foot, left foot. If that's what we feel like we need, and see if that brings us back together. Maybe even some feet together shots if we're really struggling, just to try and work on some balance, try and keep everything working together. That is also a brilliant drill if you feel like you're massively out of sequence. So what does out of sequence mean? Well, out of sequence basically means where the lower half potentially is outracing the upper half, or the upper half is outracing the lower half, so the club's leading this way and coming across it. So how would we work on that? Well, we could do a drill like this. This is a really good exercise. We kind of start feet together. We kind of step backwards, step forwards, swing forwards. It's just trying to make sure that as we do this exercise, we're trying to make sure that the club moves with us and then back with us, so we can start to get everything synced up and working together. Okay? One of the big key for me when people are struggling is grip pressure, tension. Make sure that we're not throttling this golf club so much. So what does that mean? We've covered this a lot in other videos, but tight enough that we can control the club face, soft enough that our wrists will work and our arms can be extended as well. So we need to make sure that there's not too much tension going on. That can be one of the biggest keys. That's also a power source that can be lost if you're gripping it too tight. So really, really work on these. So there's a multitude of different ideas here to get you back on track. But I'll tell you what I do when I'm struggling. I go back to the drills. I go back, feet together. I make sure I'm in good posture. I make sure the club face and the grip's aligned. Ball position's good. I start to get my game back in some shape. I then go tiptoes of the back foot this way. Bend over it, same again. Pretty good. Then I might do a step drill. That's my favourite one to get my weight moving for me. And then I get myself back in some shape and I try and work on this way. And if I start hitting it like that, I'm going to be quite pleased. And I'm going to be looking forward to playing to the captain's trip if I'm starting to hit it like that. Okay? All right, so try these exercises. Find your game again. your game often isn't as far away as you think it is. Go back to these keys, work through the checklist, and if you need any help, you know where we are. And don't forget, if you need any tips or any help at all, let us know what you want us to cover in any of these future videos, because we like to help and put some content out that you'll enjoy. Take care. See you soon.